So, what does it really take to build a company that can, literally reach for the stars? Especially when your first tries end in, well, massive fireballs. Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely wild, improbable story of Elon Musk and SpaceX. I mean, this is a story all about pure, unwavering determination against what seemed like impossible odds. It's about how one man's vision and, let's be honest, an almost unbelievable tolerance for risk set him on a path to change the future of humanity itself. Because, before SpaceX was the giant we see today, it was just a struggling startup, and it was facing this very real and very explosive problem. Okay, so to really get SpaceX, you first have to understand the mind behind it. This whole thing, it was never just about building rockets. It was about a conviction he'd had his entire life. Yeah, from a really young age, Musk wasn't just a dreamer. He was a builder. I mean, this drive to create something and then sell it, starting with a video game as a kid, that was a pretty clear sign of the tech visionary he was about to become. And well, that drive definitely paid off. After co-founding huge companies like Zip2 and, of course, PayPal, Musk walked away with a personal fortune of $180 million. Now, for most people, that's it. That's the end of the story, right? You've won. But for Musk, that was just the seed money. Seed money for a dream so big, so audacious, that pretty much everyone else thought it was pure science fiction. And right here, this is the absolute core of the whole thing. The goal was never just about launching a few satellites. It was about ensuring the long-term survival of humanity by making us a multiplanetary species. See, for Musk, this wasn't some fantasy. It was an engineering problem, and one that he felt desperately needed to be solved. So there he is. He's got his fortune, he's got this massive vision, and he goes and starts a company that the entire aerospace industry was absolutely convinced was going to fail. Hard. I mean, the sheer scale of this bet, it's just staggering. We're talking 2002. Musk sinks $100 million, that's more than half his entire fortune, into this idea. The established giants, the ones with their huge, slow-moving government contracts, they laughed. A private company building rockets from scratch to go to Mars? They just saw it as the height of arrogance. And make no mistake, this wasn't some hands-off investment. Nope. Musk literally moved to LA, dove headfirst into rocket science, and made himself the chief engineer. He was right there in the trenches, driving the design, questioning every assumption, and pushing this tiny team to innovate at a speed that the old guard, they just couldn't even comprehend. But, innovation, it's brutal. And what came next would push the company, and Musk himself, to the absolute brink of total collapse. This timeline, it's just devastating to look at. So March 2006, the first launch ends in a fireball, just seconds after liftoff. A year later, the second attempt fails because of something called harmonic resonance. Basically, this violent, uncontrolled shaking just tore the rocket apart. And then August 2008, the third rocket gets destroyed when the first stage collides with the second stage after separation. 3 launches, 3 catastrophic, very public failures. The dream was fast becoming a nightmare. And by this point, the money was just gone. That entire initial $100 million investment? Poof, vaporized in fireballs over the Pacific. SpaceX was literally weeks away from going bankrupt. Think about it. Investors were running for the hills. The few customers they had were losing faith. And all those critics in the aerospace industry, they felt completely vindicated. Everything, the company, the dream, what was left of Musk's personal fortune, it was all riding on one last desperate shot. Okay, so this is the moment the whole story just pivots. With pretty much nothing left in the bank, the team somehow scraped together enough parts for one final flight. So the question was, after 3 very public, very humiliating failures, was a 4th try anything more than just wishful thinking? The entire future of private spaceflight was literally hanging in the balance. And then, on September 28th, 2008, they got their answer. The 4th Falcon 1 launch? It was flawless. Perfect. Against every single odd, after staring right into the abyss of total failure, SpaceX had finally reached orbit. And that one success, it changed everything. I mean, everything. It was a historic first. The first privately funded liquid fuel rocket to do it. It proved their whole engineering approach could actually work. But, and this is the crucial part, It convinced NASA to award them a huge contract that saved the company from bankruptcy. In that one fiery ascent, SpaceX went from being a joke to a legitimate industry disruptor. But here's the thing. Reaching orbit, that was just the starting line. To ever have a shot at the Mars vision, they had to solve the single biggest problem in rocketry, the absolutely absurd cost. And that meant doing something nobody had ever done before. Okay, so for like 60 years, the model was simple. You throw away rockets worth hundreds of millions of dollars after using them just once. I mean, imagine throwing away a Boeing 747 after a single flight from New York to LA. It's insane. SpaceX's core innovation was to make the most expensive part of the rocket, that first stage booster, land itself vertically so it could be fixed up and flown again and again and again. This doesn't just lower the cost, it makes it possible to launch so frequently it was just unthinkable before. And then, in 2015, they actually did it. This is the moment science fiction became engineering fact. A rocket booster, after launching its payload towards space, comes back to Earth and just lands. Perfectly upright. This one achievement completely broke the old economics of spaceflight and paved the way for everything that came next. And that reusability breakthrough, it's what propelled SpaceX from that plucky little startup into an absolute titan of the industry, launching rockets at a pace that nobody could have imagined. Just look at this growth. From that one single do-or-die launch back in 2008, SpaceX now launches rockets once, sometimes even twice a week. They put more stuff into orbit every year than all other companies and all other countries combined. It's just staggering. And it's all built on the back of that reusability idea. And you know, all of this, all the Falcon 9 launches, the huge Starlink internet constellation, it all serves that original mission. It's all designed to fund the development of Starship, that massive, fully reusable vehicle that's supposed to finally make that crazy, audacious dream of building a city on Mars a reality. So in the end, the story of SpaceX, it isn't just about engineering, is it? It's about sheer, dogged resilience. It's a testament to a core belief, summed up perfectly by Musk himself. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. And that really says it all.